6 or 7 of the seasons, like just, in order. So you're always watching the same episodes, like if you watch it enough. So it's like, oh, I know where they're going next. I want to be honest.
And they're going to get a fight in about 10 minutes.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. This person's going to U-turn that person. They're going to call him a name. It's going to get ugly, but it all works out in the end because it's a non-elimination leg. If I could just tell you, like right now, it's a non-elimination leg. You don't have to get all upset. It's all going to be okay. There's going to get a little speed bump. Got to sit on a piece of ice for 10 minutes. You'll be fine. You're all good. Anyway. All right. So, hey, everybody who's joining us. We are here on a Wednesday night, Cincinnati for Jody. Mike is here in St. Louis, where we're enjoying the nice weather for the last few hours that we have it before the rainy cold sets in here in the Midwest. All right. So we're talking Wine Dine Race Weekend. We were both there. Jody was there longer than I was. She ran more miles than I did. And we're going to have a good time. I'll talk a little about Pop Century. Well, I'm not talking about Pop Century. We'll talk Coronado. That's more fun. So, there you go. Got a Buckeye right here.
Yeah. Hey, Jeff.
All right. Let's do this. 1996. Dog's sleeping, so we're all good. Listen, anybody knocks on the door. Welcome to episode 1996 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Monday to you. Hope you had a wonderful weekend and got to spend some time with friends and family. And maybe if you are one of our Be Our Guest Podcast lizards, you are out there training for your next race. And if you are in the Run Disney, universe marathon weekend, folks, you are up next because we have had our first return to running with Run Disney. We had a successful Wine and Dine Race Weekend, and that's what we're going to talk about today. But if you're not a runner, hey, don't turn us off. Stay here. We're going to talk Coronado Springs. We're going to talk some great dining, Three Bridges, Steakhouse 71. Everybody likes good food and good restaurants, so don't go away. It's not all short shorts and sneakers and big calves. I promise you, there might be some of that, but that's not what it's all going to be about. So joining me today, we got to hang out at 4:00 in the morning in the Magic Kingdom parking lot, and that was encouraged. Your friend of mine, we have Jody from Cincinnati. Jody, how's it going today?
It's great. Hi, everybody.
Doesn't it sound weird that we hung out together at 4:30 in the morning talking Disney in a parking lot? It's strange. It
is strange, but everybody was so nice. It was so nice to walk up to people and be like, hey, nice to see you after, virtually seeing you for the last, 2 or 3 years. So it was a great way to start the morning, oddly enough.
Was it the morning or was it really late at night? I can never
tell.
I
don't know. It was pitch black and there was a lot of music.
Yes, it's so weird. And the funny thing is, because I've done a lot of these race weekends, the vibe was exactly the same as it had been in 2015, 2016, 2017. The vibe was exactly the same this weekend as we returned to running. It didn't feel much different. I know that. So we'll jump into this real quick. But I got to say, like when I got my bib, I went over to the lady and I asked her, I said, okay, so how do these corrals work? I know they changed how the corrals work. And she immediately corrected me, sir, they're not corrals. I was like, I'm sorry, man. What? They're waves or they're I forget they had an S. That's all I need to say. Yes, surge or something. I don't know. I'm like, okay, well, how does it work? Like, when do I get to go? She's like, oh, you're an S1. I'm like, does that mean I'm in the front? She's like, yes, it does. I'm like, woo! I'm like, yes. I'm like, I'm not fast, but I get to be up front. So I was excited anyway. So anyway, let's hop in and let's talk about all this fun stuff. We have so much to talk about. I want to cover it all. But first, I got to ask you, 50th anniversary, you get to bring back one thing from the past. What are you going to bring back? And then we're hopping into the trip. So you get to bring back one beloved attraction, show, promotion, whatever. Bring it back. What are you going to do?
Well, I think my kids will want me to say Mr. Toad because they saw it in Disneyland and loved it, but I can't. I have to say the evening parades. I mean, I have memories as a kid from the evening parade. I completely remember my dad, and my mom. It's got to be the evening parade. Those are the best. I wish we got one back. I'm pretty jealous because it looks like Disneyland's getting theirs back. I'm like, no, come on. We need it. We need it in the world. So absolutely evening parade.
I'm right with you. Spectrum Magic or Main Street Electrical Parade. I'm not going to be picky. Just bring me back some fireworks. Yeah. It's it's always that fireworks parade kind of thing because you had one before and one after, the parade and the fireworks is perfect. Wrap to your evening. So good call. We're on the same wavelength there. All right. So We're going to talk about the Wine Dine Race Weekend, which, if you don't know, this was the return to Run Disney. We have a big Run Disney group here with the Be Our Guest podcast. It's called the BOGP Lizards. So if you are ever interested in a group that's going to support you in your training, or in a, and just basically an attempt to get in a little bit better shape. I know a lot of folks just get out there and walk a few times a week and post that to the Facebook group. That's how a lot of us got started, myself included. Some of us we have runners on our Lizards group. Shout out to Georgia, who have actually won some of the races down at Walt Disney World. It's cool to know somebody that's fast. And everywhere in between, a lot of us run and walk, do the Galloway method, but mostly we just have a good time. We go down, we run some miles, and we eat a lot of good food and ride a lot of fun rides. So if you want to get in on that, just go over to Facebook and look for the BOGP Lizards. And it's a private group. Just, ask to join. Mike Bankhead will give them a couple days, because there's a lot of people. There's like 2,500 people in the group. He'll approve you there, and then you'll be in, and it's a lot of fun. We all post our runs and our costumes. We're getting ready for the next race, like for marathon and stuff. We're doing big meals and all kinds of stuff. So just jump in over there. So I just want to get that out of the way at the top of the show. We'd love to have you on the Lizards. So again, it's not BOGP, it's Be Our Guest Lizards. Let me get that right. I should know that. I'm on the team. Anyway, so we're talking November 3rd to November 8th for this trip. Let's talk about where you stayed first, where you, your home base for this. You stayed at Coronado Springs. So why did you pick Coronado for this trip?
Well, I stayed at the Tower with my friend Kenna, who's also a Lizard, for Princess 2020 before the world came to an end. And I thought it was fantastic for a race weekend. It's so centrally located. There's a coffee shop downstairs, so you can, after you race, you can go get a hot coffee, because it was cold Princess and it was cold this race. And it was, my husband used to travel for work. Normally travels for work, and so he kind of likes that Marriott Westin type of feel, and I knew this would be his jam. And since I was begging him to do these Run Disney races with me, I thought I better at least get him a resort that he's going to feel comfortable in.
Very smart, yeah.
And it was great. I have 2 tips with Coronado, though, with the Tower. Make sure you don't stay near a room near the elevator, because that ding is really loud. So when Kenna and I stayed there in February of 2020, that ding kept me up all night, and that's not good for a race weekend when you're trying to sleep. And it's kind of adult-ish, I'd say. I don't know if I'd stay there with our kids, or if I had little kids. I noticed there's not a bathtub in the room, so I don't know with littles how you would shower them. So it's kind of a classy, elegant. It was great for an adult trip. Absolutely perfect for an adult trip.
Wait, you just said something that has me a bit confused, because you made the supposition that you sleep on a race weekend, which I never do, because I tend to hang out with friends that I don't see for, except at race weekends. So we always say, we should head back to the hotel. We start saying that at about 8, usually at about 10:30, we're starting to walk towards a bus at some point. And then once I get back to the room, I'm so amped up. And plus in my head, I know, okay, the alarm's set for 2:30. I got to go to sleep. Once I know that, I can't go to sleep. So I'm assuming you get to sleep on race weekends. It must be a magical thing, because I never do.
I'm telling you, we were out. We watched on the in-room TV, we watched the Happily Ever After fireworks on the TV every night to have our own pretend fireworks. And I was out. I think all the walking around, and I don't know. We both crashed.
That'll work. Okay, so we have so much to cover. I want to make sure that we get all this in. So you get there, you kind of check into Coronado. How does this kind of unfold? So you got there on Wednesday. The first race was Friday, just so everybody has this in. If you're not a runner, the way this weekend works is that there's 3 races over the Wine Dine Race Weekend. Friday is a 5K, Saturday is a 10K race, and then Sunday is a half marathon. So you got there Wednesday, enough time to kind of get settled and get in and probably have some fun. So how does your, pre-race weekend get started? I would assume having some fun in the parks.
Yeah. So Wednesday night, we went up to Magic Kingdom right away, rode Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, because it's my absolute favorite, and kind of made me sad that our kids weren't there, because that's, I've got such great memories with them throughout the years on that ride. But I was worried about Genie Plus and how that was going to work. And it was, I'll get there. We did try it out the next day, but rode Pirates, they said it was a 30-minute wait. It took us like 4. Nice. And then we walked over to the Contemporary and went to the new hyped up Steakhouse 71. So we had been there when it was the wave, and I've been hearing all this great stuff about it. So I was super excited to try it out as the new Steakhouse 71. And
so what'd you think though? Because I'm a little nervous because I do like Steakhouse 71. Scott raves about it. Everybody that I've talked to likes it so far.
Okay, bacon and eggs haven't changed. They're the bomb. What I did last time years ago was I got bacon and eggs and like a salad or something, and I wish I would have done that again. Like that appetizer is the best. We tried the bread appetizer. It was okay. It didn't blow me. Marlessa already talks about the bread at Sebastian's and all that.
That is good.
They gotta try that. But it's, and it's just one of those things. Also, is a good tip. They were serving broccolini for the adult steaks, and I'm like, hey, do you just have normal broccoli? Because I don't love that broccolini. So they that was great. Just to she's like, yeah, the kids have broccoli. I can get you broccoli. So we did try, you can do the sauce sampler, which was kind of fun. You could try the sauces with the different steaks. And I don't think I'd do that every time, but it was kind of fun to try them all and see what we liked best. So.
Yeah, I saw somebody actually on Twitter yesterday. It's so funny you mentioned the sauces, asking if they could get the sauces, every sauce from Steakhouse 71, like FedEx to their home because they were that good. That's so funny that you mentioned that because it's like 2 mentions of Steakhouse 71 sauce within 24 hours. So I didn't.
Yeah, they were good. They were good. And so we just had a really nice meal. It took a long time though. Like our original plan was, let's finish our meal and go over to Epcot and we can watch Bargemonious, which is what I call it, Harmonious Bargemonious.
That's good. I've never heard that, but I'm going to use that. I like that. That's
gorgeous. But it was like a 2-hour meal, and it took, it was lovely, but all of a sudden we're like, gosh, this isn't going to work. So we're like, well, let's go back to the resort. And it was like, oh, Tim, that's my husband. I'm like, I want to show you upstairs, this Barcelona lounge. So we go up there, we have a drink. Next thing you know, we're sitting next to one of the trainers from Galloway. His name's Chris, and he's talking to us. We're having a great time talking with him and talking racing and running and tips and all this stuff. All of a sudden I look down, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's midnight. We have to go this is not our plan. Like, we were supposed to be in bed.
This is Cinderella. Your coach is going to turn to a pumpkin. Like, oh my God.
We gotta go now. But it was a great first night. It was very adultish, going to a bar, going to a nice restaurant, only doing 2 rides at Magic Kingdom, way to try out those new shiny APs that we just got. So it was a great start to the weekend, I guess is what I would say.
And that's why you get down there early for a race weekend, right? To have some fun, takes the pressure off. You go to a park, you have some meals, or to stay after, because once you get into like that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the races, if things go quick. I'm just saying, like if you're doing the races, it passes quickly. All right, so we get to Thursday. This is where you guys get up early, head to the studios, you start using Genie Plus. So give us how that day unfolds.
So this was, I really want to love Genie Plus. I love the movie. I really want to love everything about it. I want to love, it's Robin Williams.
Yeah, you're Robin Williams. I was like, Good Morning. Exactly. Mrs. Doubtfire was solid. Yeah.
I know. But I'm telling you, so get up at 7 a.m. and you go to buy it, and then they have to text you, they have to email you this code, and then you have to put the code in, and the whole thing was such a product. I'm like, what in the world? Why can't you've got my blood type and my social security number and everything else. I mean, come on, people. Like, why do you have to send me a code? So that took a couple minutes, get the code, put it in, order the stuff. So by the time I clicked on it, I had heard Slinky Dog goes really fast. So I'm like, well, I want to get Slinky Dog. 6:35 p.m. was the first available Slinky Dog.
Holy cow.
So I grabbed it because I didn't know. I mean, I don't know the system well. I knew Fast Pass Plus. I had that thing down. I don't know this thing at all. So I grab it, panicked, thinking I better get it. Then we get, I'm on Messenger with Joe Fickus going, what am I doing wrong? How's this? So then we get there, and then I go talk to the guest services team, which I have to say, there are a lot of guest services team out there right now in the parks helping people, because this is new to everybody, right? And even the cast members at the resort, sometimes we're like, I'm not really sure, better to talk to the team at the park. So, we dropped this $30 on this, and I'm all excited. I booked this thing at 7. I get a 6:30 p.m. Slinky Dog. And then when I get to the park, they tell me I'm not allowed to book anything else till 11 a.m. And I'm thinking, I just spent $30 And your first available thing was 6 p.m. and now it's 9 a.m., but I can't do anything till 11. So that was a little frustrating. I was, and I've been to Disneyland and I loved that system. This was that kind of bothered me. I felt like I was paying for something, but I wasn't allowed to use it yet. So I didn't love that. And maybe they'll work out those kinks, and maybe it's user error. I don't know, but that was interesting. So we got a line from Mickey and Minnie because we're like, well, I'm not paying for an individual lightning lane, or I call it ill because it makes me ill paying for it. So I'm like, I'm not going. I thought it was some words, right? So I'm like, so we go on after that, and they said, oh, the ride's down, and we're not sure how long it's going to open. I'm like, oh, jeez, Pete's. So we get online for Mickey and Minnie, and I'm like, let's just go to Rock and Roller. We love that. Let's just start our morning off and get all shaken up and start there. So we get on there, and it's a walk-on. It's almost like, I mean, there's nobody. Everybody's at Rise or Mickey and Minnie, and we're like, we'll go down here. So that's how we started our day. Tower was down, so we just kind of enjoyed our morning, and we decided not to do a Rise right at the beginning because we thought, well, I think wait times will go down. If we have time, we'll do it later. I don't know if that was good or bad. I don't know.
It's hard to tell because really the studios, I mean, obviously Rise is kind of head and shoulders above everything else, but you got Slinky Dog and Mickey and Minnie's, which are kind of like you got like a 1 and a 1A and a 1B, as far as where people are going to go, because Rise is where folks are going to go. But I mean, Minnie and Minnie, it's right there. It's going to kind of, it's going to be tempting for folks just to jump there, and not make it all the way back to Rise. And Slinky Dog, everybody can ride, and that's going to be popular with families. So it's a tough call where you're going to go for that first ride as you're waiting for maybe your first lightning lane selection to come up as you're kind of, getting in there for the first standby.
Which I said for us now I bought it at 7, parks open at 9, and I'm not allowed to book anything now till 11. So
that is frustrating.
That was a little frustrating. So anyway, I'm looking at my notes because I want to make sure I remember what we did. So we went down, we did Smuggler's Run, which was super fun. And then we decided, let's just go to the expo right now. So it was like 10:30 or so. We took the Skyliner over to the Riviera, took the bus from the Riviera over to the expo, got our, and again, my husband, Tim, this is his first run Disney race. So that was all he was like, geez, oh, Pete's, this is like way bigger than most races. So one building for your bib, one building to get your shirts, then another building for merchandise. And we go over to the merchandise building, and this guy behind us said, wait a minute, this is a line for me to give you my money to buy more stuff?
And sometimes even longer than you guys waited. I've waited in super long lines over. It's insane. You're right. I mean, you're waiting in a line just to go spend money. It does not make sense. I get what your husband was saying. Yeah.
So Tim does not like shopping, and this is not going to be a good. So forget it. So and we're doing Dopey, and I thought I'm just going to save our money and we're going to buy some cool stuff there. So off we went back to the studios. We were hungry then, so we really like Docking Bay 7. I know it gets a bad rap, but there's a vegetarian meatball hummus dish, and I'm not a vegetarian, but we love it. And the other thing we love is it's a tuna poke bowl that's really, really good. So we hung out there, checked out Galaxy's Edge a little bit more, and then finally we're able to. I was able to book Lightning Lane when we were at the expo. So here I am, like getting all the stuff, trying to pull up the app and checking, like, oh, now what can I get? And it's just.
It's kind of frantic, right? I mean, it seems like you're always doing something lately. I honestly, I feel like that. It's like, okay, it's 11 o'clock, but I'm in the middle of the trying to, they're handing me a shirt. Do I still have the right size when I registered 6 months ago? Okay, well, I got to do I want Toy Story? Do I want Smuggler's Run right now? You got to pay attention now when you go on vacation. I'm not saying it can't be done, but you got to pay attention now. I'm just saying.
Well, I was constantly setting alarms on my phone to remind me to go book the next thing because they don't pop up on your app. Like you don't get a notification. So I was setting alarms. My phone's going off half the time. And one time we're in line, my phone's going off and the lady taps me. She's like, I think your phone's going off. Oh yeah, that's me. My phone. I'm kind of
that's right. I'm ready to go. Yeah. I used to do that back in the paper fast pass day. I'd be back with I remember that old Nokia like brick phone, because it would say, you can book your next fast pass when you use this one, and it gave you a little time at the bottom, like, 12:25.
I remember.
And so I would set my, my little alarm on that the little cheap brick phone for like 12:23 so that I knew, okay, then I can book, and it wasn't, you didn't book it back then. What it meant was I need to start running towards my next ride and go, take everybody's cards. This is before Magic Bands, and feed them into the little machine and get the little papers. I was like the guy. That's how I got my steps back in the day. Dad went all over the park and ran and got fast passes for everybody. I remember those are the good old days, right? That's weird.
I know. I like you anyway, but we ended up, it all worked out, but we did Star Tours, we did Muppets, just kind of some silly stuff waiting for it. Saw one of the pop-up parades. It was Mr. Incredible. Tim had on Incredible shirts. They had fun together. We had a snack at Baseline at some time during the day. I don't remember when. So it's not the holding tank anymore for your Rise boarding group, because there's no more Rise boarding groups. But anyway, we did get Lightning Lane or Genie Plus for Toy Story Mania, and that line was like 55 minutes most of the day. So, which was shocking to me because that line's been really low and now it was really high. So we've got Toy Story Mania. We used our 6:30 p.m. Slinky. We got Rock and Roller Coaster again, and then we finally got Tower. And that was one of those. I was refreshing and looking at the app. I think for almost like 2 hours straight trying to get Tower, because I guess only 2 of the elevators were working on Tower. And it was 110-minute wait that day. And I'm like,
is that the day that it didn't open because they were doing some kind of maintenance on it?
The day before it didn't open. So our day, they only had 2, and it was, I'm like, I'm not waiting 110 minutes for Tower of Terror. That's crazy, but I love it. So we finally got it. But I mean, it was one of those checking the app. So that's the one thing about Genie Plus. I felt like I was not taking in as much as the environment. I was constantly looking at the app. But anyway, so it just took a lot of time. And then we tried to go ride Rise on standby because the line was, I don't know, less than an hour. And we're like, oh, that's fine. We can go do that. Then we get halfway through the line, the ride goes down.
And that's the thing is like, I'm glad that there's a standby, but you are every time I get in that, because I haven't done it yet since it's been standby, but every time I get in that line when I'm moving forward, I'm going to be just like hold my breath that it doesn't go down.
And luckily,
it's complex, like it could at any point.
Yeah. Luckily there was wherever we were inside, there was a cast member not far from us. And she was like, we don't know, at least a half an hour, if not longer. And I'm like, forget it. I mean, we've been lucky enough to have been on it before. We love it. We're Star Wars people. We absolutely love Star Wars, but I'm like, I don't know how long, and we got to run the next day. It's just a 5K, but we got to go to bed. So
also, you put your step counts in here. You guys were getting around. So yeah,
we were. You're
doing all 3 races. You got, it gets to you on Sundays. You got to be careful. Yeah. It's not Friday that'll get you. It's Sunday that'll get you. All right. So speaking of the races starting, so this is where you do got to pay attention on Thursday for the Friday race, because if you don't know, if you've never done a Run Disney race, first race, the day gets there early. So talk about what time did you go to bed Thursday night? And then what time did you leave your room on Friday morning for the 5K?
We were probably asleep each night race nights between 9 and 9:30. We were pretty good.
So good. I cannot do that. It's awesome.
I know. I run really early. There are times where I run at 4 or 5 in the morning anyway, because my kids have sports and whatever. So I know that I got to relax and get my brain. And plus, parks are exhausting. They're fun, but they're exhausting. Yeah. So we went to bed pretty early. We got on the bus at 3:25 in the morning, went over to the race. Pouring rain that morning.
I felt bad for everybody because I saw that from home, because I was coming down that afternoon. I was on the treadmill that morning in my basement. I was like, oh, it's pouring for the 5K.
And these people in their amazing costumes. I am not crafty or creative, and these people just had these most amazing costumes, and I felt so bad because they're just getting drenched.
Right.
Just getting drenched. And then I was like, gosh, I wonder if there's going to be any characters out on the course because it's raining so hard. But here was our dilemma. We were in S1. We had to run really fast because that happened to be the morning that our Dopey dining reservations opened up at 6 a.m. So
here we go. It's like always the next thing. It's always the next thing. I
know. And I really wanted to live in the moment, but I'm like, we gotta hurry up for this. So we paced that one with a little bit of an uptick, a little faster than I definitely faster than we're going to do for Dopey. Because when I told Tim, I'm like, we're not doing this for Dopey.
So I understand though, because one time I ran one of the races, it was either a 5 or a 10K this was back when to get a Rise boarding group, you had to be in the park.
Mm-hmm.
And so I remember running a race. It had to have been a 5K because I ran the race super fast just for the fact that I could get back to my hotel, get a quick shower, throw my clothes on, and get to the studios so I could get in line to get in the park to try to get on Rise. Yep. I think it was Rise. It was something like that because I remember it was still dark when I was in line. I'd already run the 5K. It's insane. Like I'm telling you, people are like, why you're not doing any good, like getting me to sign up for a Run Disney race. This is insanity. It absolutely is. And these things are extremely expensive. I'm just telling you, save your money. No, they're fun. They're fun, but I mean, they are insane.
They are fun. So it was fun though that morning. I got to meet Brenda, Lori, and there are all these fun people that you meet, you see. So it was fun to meet them all. And Stephanie, who we hung out with at the 10K. So it's just fun to meet the other lizards who, everyone's so encouraging and kind on that group. And it was just nice to meet people face to face. So after the 5K, I actually did laundry because our clothes were, even though we had ponchos, you could bring them out. That's how wet it was. So I did laundry and then we relaxed, took a little nap. And then Tim's like, hey, I kind of want some Tonga toast. And I'm like, I'm down for some Tonga toast. So get on the bus, go up to Magic Kingdom, then walk from Magic Kingdom bus over to the monorail, took monorail around to Poly, go to Captain Cook's, get some Tonga toast. But because it's pouring rain, that eating area is so tiny. Because it's pouring rain, there's like nowhere to sit because it's all that outdoor area that you normally see that. Boy, can't go out there because it's cats and dogs and their cousins are coming out of the sky. So we took our food and ate in the lobby of the Poly. I'm like, I guess it's okay. I mean,
that's not a bad call. It's a pretty space, and I mean, hey, it's better than eating out some soggy Tonga toast. I mean,
so it was that was a fun morning. And then we just thought, well, it's still raining, so let's just kind of do the monorail loop and see what's around. And which was cool because they're doing the gingerbread house. So we saw the actual bakers out there, and they had this really neat PowerPoint presentation explaining the process and how long it's going on and what and that work. I mean, that's so delicate and
it's crazy.
It was unbelievable. I don't have the patience or talent for that. But
zero. I can't even do the little ones you buy at Target. Like, like 5 shingles and you just put some ice. I can't even do those.
And again, this is, we obviously love Disney and love Disney trips with our kids, but this is just different when it's the two of us. We don't, like when the kids are with us, I would have felt obligated to go to a park because they love the rides and they want to go to the park. Like this was like, it's awful. So we did the monorail loop. We wanted to go to one of Pam's lounges, but they all opened at 3 or 3:30 and it's like 11 a.m. So none of them were open.
The thing is like your time on everything on a race weekend gets so skewed because you're up at, it's like right now for the rest of the entire world with daylight saving, with the change in the times. Like right now we're recording at about 6:30 at night. I swear it's midnight right now because it's been dark for like 7 hours. It feels like it's like that over a race weekend because you get up at 3 a.m. I mean, you're ready to have lunch and it's 8 o'clock. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. You're like, okay, let's go get some lunch at Casey's. Like Casey's isn't open yet, Mike. The Magic Kingdom's not even open yet, Mike. It's 8. It's 8.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, wait, what? So you're exactly right. Things are messed up over these things.
Yeah. So then we went to the Contemporary, we kind of walked in the shops and checked stuff out. And then we're like, well, let's try to go to Animal Kingdom. So we get on the bus to the Contemporary, go down to the Animal Kingdom. And I'm telling you, these raindrops were the size of golf balls.
Well, I know, because I was in this stuff as soon as I got there, because I got there Friday afternoon. It was ridiculous.
And we just looked at each other. We're like, what are we doing? This is not a good life choice. So we got off the bus and then got back on the bus to Coronado. We didn't step foot in the park. We thought this is just, no amount of ponchos and umbrellas and rain boots are going to make this enjoyable.
You made the right call. Because when you just said you were going to Animal Kingdom on Friday, I was like, no, please tell me you didn't. Because
we did not.
Good. Okay, good.
We did not. So not your tip, and then we just kind of hung out, and then we decided, well, we got to figure out what we're doing for dinner because we're going to eat Situate Canteen, which we didn't because we didn't go into the park. So we're like, oh, well, Mike always talks about Three Bridges and he's never been, but we always talk about it. So I'm like, let's give it a try. So we used the walk up part of the app and it said, oh, your table's going to be ready in 65 minutes. And I was like, oh, wow, gosh, that stinks. Okay. 5 minutes later, we get this text, your table's ready. And I'm like,
Every person tells me this, that it tells you it'll be ready in an hour. And then like, okay, I'm going to go find something to do for an hour. Your table's ready.
Like, it's going to take us longer than 5 minutes to walk over there. So we tried to stay in the building as long as possible before we took the bridges over because we knew we were going to get wet again. And even with all the rain gear, but we made it over there. We sat on this like outdoor patio furniture thing. It wasn't the most comfortable thing to eat on, but again, had another server was great. Food was really good. I had a margarita, which, maybe is not the best choice before a race, but it was fun. It was just might as well. You're on vacation, right? So, but here's another one of my pro tips. No matter if you're a runner or just regular Disney goer, pack newspaper, because we took newspaper, shoved it in our shoes that night, and woke up with perfectly dry, completely comfortable, wonderful shoes the next day. So find some newspaper.
Yeah, you won't believe it till you try it. Just bring a lot of newspaper down, put it in your suitcase. Newspaper will wick that water right out of your shoes overnight. It's you think we're joking. Do it once and you'll be a believer. Because I heard somebody told me that too. This was before I ran. It was just that I had wet shoes from going to the parks when I was just going, to Epcot one day and it rained. And I mean, that way you don't have to pack 4 pair of shoes. It will dry them out.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. So again, watch the Happily Ever After, which I love Happily Ever After. Watched it on the TV, and we were in bed by 9:15 again.
Good.
Because we know the next morning is the 10K, so back on the bus at 3:25.
Which we didn't know if it was going to be raining this morning. This one I was there for. This one I got to run, so I was at Pop Century. I hopped on the bus early at about 3:15, 3:30ish, and got over there. And fortunately, it was not running. It was not raining. It was a little breezy and it was a little chilly. Chilly.
Mist.
Yeah, it's kind of misty. If you looked in the lights, like if you looked up at the lights, it looked like it was raining, but it wasn't, definitely wasn't what it was Friday. And so we were kind of lucky there. And honestly, once we got running, the conditions were great for running. Perfect weather, except for the wind. It was a little bit windy.
I was a little worried about slick spots because of all the rain the day before. And I was kind of concerned, like, oh gosh, is any of this going to be slippery? And I think I can't get injured before Dopey. But
speaking of, I hit mile 3. We were going up on one of those where you go around one of those, like clover leaves, and then you go up over the bridge, and they have those metal expansion joints on the bridge as you're going over the road.
Mm-hmm.
I hit one and I knew I was trying to be careful because I knew those things are going to be slick, right? Because, it had been raining, and I hit one and my foot slid out from under me. Fortunately, I didn't go down. I didn't buckle my knee or anything, but I did slide and it scared me to death. The same thing. I was just down there to mess around for Wine Dine. Dopey's my thing. And if I'd have gotten hurt, I would have been so mad, but I did. Slide. You gotta be careful when it's wet.
Yeah. So that was super fun. We got to before we got to see you and hashtag Scotty G, and Wade was there. Stephanie, who had cheered a bunch of us on a Toledo race, was there, and she was running the 10K. So it was really, really fun. And we ended up running a little bit with Wade. There's a picture actually that he's like looking over us at right in front of Spaceship Earth, and it looks like he's giving us a tour of Epcot. It's pretty funny. So I did have to. I made Tim, my husband, stop for different characters. I'm like, come on, let's stop for characters this race. That's why we're here, right? This is not a normal race, so let's go have fun. So we stopped for the Big Bad Wolf and Governor Ratcliffe and stuff, and then we stopped for this one. And we take a picture, and I sent it to my daughter later. I'm like, I don't know who this is. And she's like, Mom, how can you run these races and not know? I'm like, I don't know all the villains.
I don't know who half the people are when I'm running these races, because that's the thing. If you're a fan of the characters, these races are awesome because they pull out characters that are not it's not like a Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck. They're like obscure characters. And I'm just like, I have no, it's also 4:30 in the morning or 6 o'clock or something. I'm just like, I have no idea who that is. Or is that a Disney thing? I'm like, I don't think that's a Disney thing. Like, what? Yeah. So I'm with
Apparently he was bowler hat guy from Meet the Robinsons. I've never seen that movie, so I didn't know. But it was fun. So again, get back to the room, get showered, take a little nap, relax, and then and then we had to try to get a Remy boarding group for 7 a.m. So that again, setting the alarm, try to figure something else out while you're finished running. So so get out of the shower, get the Remy boarding group. That was awesome. So get cleaned up, head over to Epcot, did the single rider line at Test Track, which I had completely forgotten about because again, we're normally with the kids. And Tim's like, why don't we do that line? I'm like, oh yeah, let's go do that line.
Oh yes.
Walk right on. I mean, I don't need to make the car. So so did that. We had to go, Tim had to go get a Starbucks because that gotta keep the husband happy. So he goes to Starbucks and I go to Canada and I get the Wine Dine Le Cellier steak and soup. I'm like, because that's
looking at, a little cheddar cheese soup and some coffee.
Yeah, because perfect match. So then we were boarding group 20 for Remy, and we got called about 11:30. So we head back there. That was awesome. I love Ratatouille. Tim and I we're kind of big wine people and big.
It's an audio podcast, but if you were watching the video, which you can see over at facebook.com/podcast, Jodie's sitting in, it looks like a wine cellar, like all the wine.
We have a wine cellar
too. It's very awesome.
Yeah. So so did Remy, loved it. Just I don't think it's getting enough love. I thought it was great. But again, I love the movie. So then we tried that creperie because I'm like, well, let's try it. I don't know if anyone's familiar with the Army SOS meal. That's what my crepe tastes like. I was like,
my grandma used to make SOS for us. I know what it stands for. If you know, you know. So,
chipped beef on toast.
Yeah, so it was chipped beef on toast, but it was called something on a shingle.
Yep. So anyway, so that I'm like, this is all right. And Tim had the hazelnut one, and we had a glass of champagne because again, why not? We're on vacation, right? This is a race weekend, but it's supposed to be fun. So then it was kind of fun and checked that out. Went around World Showcase. We did see one of the character sightings. So Snow White was out behind her rope, and so for families, she was great. She was engaging. She was talking to people. You could just get a selfie with her. So there are characters out. So if you're looking for the princesses and stuff, they were out, and she was Snow White. Her voice, I mean, she was awesome. She kept telling me that she needs to trim Dopey's not gown, cape, whatever he wears, because we were talking about the races. Because she's like, he's going to trip over it. I'm like, don't trip. That's a runner's nightmare.
Yes, it is.
And then somehow we go over to Three Caballeros because I think it's cute. That line for the tequila place, I don't get it. It's like 200 people deep.
Right. Oh yeah, it needs a virtual queue worse than Remy. I'm saying.
I was shocked. I had no idea that I kept thinking, what are all these people doing?
Yes, no, it's always La Cava.
I had no clue. I'm like, they could get an Uber, go to a liquor store, buy 3 bottles of tequila faster than they could get something here. It was insane. So anyway, that was nuts. And then called it a day, went back to the room, relaxed a little bit. And then we went upstairs at Coronado and had dinner at the Toledo, whatever, restaurant.
Toledo's the fancy one in Toledo. Well, you're from Ohio, so it should be Toledo, right? I mean, come on.
And I'm telling you, that meal, I don't know why people aren't talking about this restaurant. Like I said, my husband and I are kind of foodies, and it was absolutely phenomenal. I went in thinking I was going to get something light because I had to run the next day. Oh no, I'd get lamb shank. So that was not light.
We haven't talked about this much because honestly, it opened right before, the COVID shutdown. It wasn't open long before that. And then it was slow to reopen here, just reopened recently. If you had to compare that to any other Disney restaurant, is there anything that's kind of compared that you compare to for folks that haven't been there?
I think it was just as good as California Grill.
Oh, that's nice.
I'm telling you, the food was absolutely fantastic. The ambiance is gorgeous. I hate to say it, but I think I liked it better than Steakhouse 71.
Nice. Well, I mean, it's got a definite, just feel to it at the top. Because I have walked in the restaurant. It was closed when we were there this summer because I just walked, staying in the tower, went up to the top. And by the way, if you walk out on that balcony and you're a little scared of heights, that tower is pretty high because you can walk out there in the open air and kind of lean over the edge. I got a little spooked. I got a little.
And it was super windy, so I did not go out very far.
I got a little spooked up there. Yeah, but it's a pretty restaurant. It's very nice, and so is the lounge up there too. It's very nice.
It was gorgeous. And then so that was Saturday. Off to bed early and called it a night. But
Yes, 13 to go tomorrow. 13-1.
Yeah. So then next day was the half marathon. Up and early on the bus again. We missed the Lizard group picture, which made me a little sad. Saw Wade again at the starting line. Met Georgia, as you guys call him. That was fun. Saw some super cool characters. I'm telling you, if you're not a runner but you love characters, walk one of these races, because we saw, the Grave Diggers and Hades and Kronk and Drizella and Smee and Hook and Lotso Bear and Queen of Hearts and Jafar and Pain and Panic, and everybody was out there, and that was only a portion of them. So it's, if you like characters, races are a place to see them.
100%.
We lost Wade somehow in the race, but his wife totally gets a shout out, Shelly, because she stayed out in that cold cheering everybody on. So she's the real winner. That I don't know how she did that.
I agree by the cheers. Shout out to you, because that's harder than running. It's way hard.
Went back to the room, took a little nap, showered, and then we went to brunch at Wine Bar George. Now,
I have not been there, and I want to go there so bad because I found out they have biscuits and gravy. I had no idea.
They do. That's exactly what Tim ordered. And they also have the chicken biscuit sandwich, kind of like homecoming, apparently. I'm telling, and George sat us. He was so nice, and server was great. Like, they have this button on the app. Like, if you needed your water refilled or anything, you just press it, and the server comes, and really cool.
Nice.
I had this yummy avocado toast cheese thing that was delicious. I mean, it was lovely. And we're not really Disney Springs people. We don't normally go, but it was worth it. Had a mimosa, had to go do some Christmas shopping. That was one thing I really did like about this race weekend, is we brought an extra piece of luggage to get the kids some Christmas gifts, and we nailed it. Like, we just got stuff done. Like, that was nice. So then we dropped everything off, went over to Animal Kingdom because we missed it on Friday because of the torrential downpour. We love Everest, and it's going to be closed during marathon weekend. So rode it together the first time, and then rode single rider again. And then then I broke down and paid for this silly.
You paid the ill.
I did. It was ill. It made me ill. Paid it to go ride Flight of Passage, but with the two of us, I'm like, well, it's not as bad. But
we can always justify anything we want to when it comes to Disney.
and time was shortened this day,
right? I agree. You'd already run 13 miles. I mean, you need to split that.
So rode that, and then kind of went back to the room, relaxed a little bit, because we had the after hours party that night that came with the race. So, and I know you said you're not a fan of this. I don't know if we were just in the right place at the right time, but we had a great experience. Low crowds, super fun people. We saw Bargemonious with Georgia and Reggie, another runner. I
love Reggie. I miss seeing him. I'm so
Reggie was awesome. So
January, yeah,
so fun. I felt like Harmonious is a lot like Happily Ever After. A lot of the same songs. But with Ursula's arms. That's all I can think of with that thing in the center. It looks like Ursula's arms. So I couldn't stop thinking that. And I just didn't get any warm and fuzzies. Like it was nice, and it was a nice show, but it didn't make me tear up or.
Right. I'm the same way. I mean, maybe I give things. Yeah, I've only seen it twice, and I'll give it time to grow on me. But I mean, it just like Illuminations, just the thought of Illuminations just moves me. And Harmonious is a show, and it's a fireworks show. I mean, it's something that's it's fun to watch. I mean, but it's just like Illuminations made me want to get out there and just like hug the entire planet. Like we're all, just
I did like the foreign languages, them singing in the other languages. That was a nice touch that made it a little.
I agree. Yeah, it made it feel just more like it belonged in Epcot, but it felt almost like we're taking the Happily Ever After, because it had a lot of the same. And I love Enchantment over at Magic Kingdom, but it's almost the same songs. There's a lot of same songs there too.
Yeah,
I mean, but that feels more Magic Kingdom with the songs to me.
Yeah,
I'm not an expert at this stuff. I just know what I like, and I loved it. I loved that Illuminations was like its own thing. It wasn't movies.
Yeah, I agree. So we watched it in the kind of in the Germany pavilion, kind of in front of the little train set there, closer to the water. So you could see everything, which was nice. But I don't know. It was good, but I like other ones better. And then we hung out at the after party with Reggie for a little while. Met up with Wade and Shelly again, and we had no wines. We met Shadow Man. Maleficent was out. There were other of the evil characters out. I don't. We just walked up and ordered food and had a great. Nothing was crowded or crazy. People were nice and kind, and we didn't have any kind of that. I feel like lately Epcot in the evening is not a place where I want to take my kids.
Right.
And I didn't get that vibe at all during the after party. Everybody was having fun, but being respectful.
Well, see, here's my comparison, because I ran the Wine and Dine Half Marathon like the first 4 years they had it, and that's when it was at night. And so what you would do is you would basically the race would finish at Epcot, and then the after party happened as soon as you got there. So the party went from 10 to 1. I think the race, I can't remember exactly when it went, but you got to Epcot around 10, 10:30, 11 o'clock, depending on how fast you ran. But then the party, I think, went to like 2 or something like that. And so, you were just immediately like going race, and you just, bring a change of clothes, check that bag, change your clothes in the bathroom, and go to the party. And I preferred that. But again, the first Wine and Dine race, I mean, that was 11 years ago, because I had my shirt on this week. It was from 2010, was the inaugural Wine and Dine. And the thing was, I mean, I don't want to sound super old, but I mean, that's 11 years ago. Like, I don't even like staying up that late anymore. I mean, I'm being honest. I like getting up early in the morning, getting my run in and getting to work. And I'm just not one. I mean, I know people love these after hours events, and they're great. I mean, just like you mentioned, everything, low crowds, the weather's usually nicer because it's cooler, just special, meet and greets and all these, you got all these friends that everybody's celebrating these accomplishments. I get it. So I'm glad you enjoyed it. I mean, it sounds like it was a lot of fun. I mean, I wish I could have gone, but again, I was back home. But yeah, that sounds fun. Next time.
Yeah, we had fun, and bundled back up, because it was cold. So I brought all the clothes, and I'm glad I did, because it had some weather that weekend.
Make sure you bring them all in January, even if it says it's gonna be 80 every day. I'm telling you, bring long underwear, because it'll get you.
Listen, I have no shame. I will bring the world's biggest piece of luggage. It doesn't. We fly Delta, and we get our luggage for free. I don't care if I have a tiny little bag or the biggest bag known to mankind. Doesn't matter to me. I'm not ashamed of it, because I'm packing everything.
Yes. This is your PSA, everybody that's going for Marathon Weekend. Even if it says it's gonna be 95 every day that we're there, but pack the stocking caps, the gloves, the hand warmers, the long tights, everything. Bring it, because one of those mornings is going to be cold. Just saying, it happens every year. Anyway, okay, so you get all this done after hours party. Monday's your last day. You finally don't have to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
We finally didn't wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. So no tour. We slept in. We pulled a Ricky, as I was saying. Slept in a little bit. Went up to the Magic Kingdom. Got pictures. Practice. I kept calling them practice pictures. Like, we're practicing for Dopey. Got a selfie with Mickey, because Mickey's meeting now in Town Square. Because it's inside, you have to wear your mask, and there's no PhotoPass photographers. That was a little hard to try to navigate. I'm I'm short, so I don't have long arms to take selfies. So, which you're not have. So that it was fun to see, and Mickey was great and celebrating us on our run. And went over to the castle to take some pictures. I really thought the best place was over by Sleepy Hollow, because it wasn't as crowded. We tried the infamous spring roll cart. I've never tried that before. So we waited in that line over by Adventureland to try this.
Because I've never waited in that line. I want to, but I've never waited.
They were very good. They were very greasy. The 50th anniversary one had a pastrami with a mustard. It was good.
To do that.
But it was quite greasy. But I'm glad I tried it. I mean, something different. We rode Haunted Liberty Square riverboat, which I'm embarrassed to say I've never done it before. So Big Thunder again, because I love it. And then you're never going to believe this. We go over to Tomorrowland. Astro is a 10-minute wait, and People Mover was 30.
I get it. I mean, there's more marketing for the People Mover. Let's face it. It's got hats. It's got shirts. Astro Orbiter gets no love. There's no shirt for an Astro Orbiter.
I love Astro Orbiter. So we did Astro Orbiter.
It's Mallory, and it's our ride. That's what we like to ride.
So yeah, we did that, and then rode carousel. The last ride, we had to give Walt a nod and went to Carousel of Progress. We did not fall asleep.
It's hard after race weekend, man. You're tired. You're Disney tired.
And then went back to the resort, got our luggage, and took our very last trip on the Tragical Express. So and off to the airport we went. So it was, I love Disney trips with our family. I love this is very different when it's adults. We got to do some things we normally wouldn't do. I don't normally go to the bars with kids when our kids are with us, but we really use this as kind of a training run and experience before Dopey. Learned a lot. Again, bring all the stuff. We brought all the stuff. So thankful for my parents who stayed with the kids, because that was the only way this was all possible. So it was great. I think Tim was surprised at how fun the Disney races were, because he normally he runs a lot, but he's never done a Disney race before, like the entertainment and the movies. And there was this really cool light show thing in the 13-mile one, and a cauldron that had bubbles coming out of it. And I think all that was kind of surprising to him. And it was a really great, it felt great to be back at Run Disney and be at the start line and be with some lizards and build some memories.
And I like the way you kind of kept referring to this as almost like a trial run or a practice run for Dopey, because it is kind of, it's the multiple mornings of getting up and having a plan as each day gets progressively, the run gets longer, and you have to prepare, because you're not going to wear just like the same, running shorts for 4 days. You got to, you got to remember, you got to pack 3, sets of everything, and for Dopey 4 sets. And you got to have everything, you got to have a routine. You got to get your bib on your shirt the night before. You got to have everything laid out. We're going to wear gloves the next day, or you're not. You're going to wear a hat, stocking cap, stuff like that. So that's a great kind of lesson for folks that are maybe going through like their first Run Disney cycle, that if you want to jump in and do one of these challenges, that maybe, your goal one might be a Dopey or a Goofy, but maybe take on like one of these, a Princess or a Wine and Dine as and they're fun in themselves. They're not just like for a trial run, but I mean, it gives you an opportunity to do it where it's not the whole deal, like a 4-night kind of a 4-day experience. I never thought about that, but and especially with Wine and Dine and Marathon, because really, I mean, we're talking 60 days apart. I mean, they're really close together. I mean,
my credit card noticed when it was registration time.
No kidding. They're like, are you signing up for exactly? Like, that's $1,000 of races you just signed up for in like a month. Are you sure? I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not really sure, but I think I did. So let me ask you this before we get out here, because we went a little bit long, but that was totally cool, because this was so much fun for me, because I was there for a brief time. Oh, by the way, one of my guests and one of my good friends, Joe Laszlo, one of the lizards, you might have seen him. He was down there too. Because he always sends me messages on Twitter. A couple weeks before the race, he asked, Mike, do you think I can make an 11 o'clock flight after the half marathon? I'm like, no way can you make an 11 o'clock flight. You'll never make it. Let me just tell you, I did make a 7:30 Magical Express after the 10K, and I could have made a 7 o'clock Magical. Now, this was only after the 10K, not after the half marathon. But if you run fast, and you'll notice that I almost set a PR in the 10K, and it wasn't because I was trying to set a PR in the 10K. It was because I was trying not to miss Magical Express, so I didn't miss my flight. That's why I was running so fast on Saturday. But yes, you can, with a little motivation, you can make a lot of flights. It's amazing what this in a plane will do to your racing speed. Okay, the last question I have for you though was marathon weekend's coming up. So you've done Princess. Your husband's going back with you. You guys are doing Dopey together. Like, what are you looking forward to that maybe you didn't get to experience over Wine and Dine, or you want to do again? Like, what's the thing you're really hoping happens for marathon weekend? What are you excited for?
Hi, Riley. I am excited for more lizard meetups. That's why I was excited to book all the dining. That's why I ran fast for the 5K, because I really want, Joe had put out a list of different times we were all trying to meet up, and I really wanted to participate in those, because you feel like these people. When you're posting your pictures after your long runs and everyone's giving encouragement. So that's what I'm really looking forward to. And it's been a bucket list thing for me to try to do Dopey. And I've been, checking off the list of all the training, and I'm so excited to be at those start lines and really excited to be at that finish line. So
It won't be long now. So I can't wait to see you down there again. So it'll be, we get through the holiday. The good news between, here and there, it goes quickly because you got Thanksgiving, you got Christmas, and then, here's the good thing. Ask for Disney gift cards for Christmas. That's what you spend at the expo. That's what I do every year. Like, I get to buy all my, my hoodie right here. Probably bought it with Disney gift cards my in-laws got me for Christmas. So there you go. That's how you keep, and it's easy for them and it's easy for me. Works out for everybody. So
perfect.
I appreciate you, Jodie, coming on the show, and hope you had a great Wine and Dine Race Weekend, and hopefully training goes well for you and all the other lizards, and we'll all be together again, freezing in a parking lot here soon down in Walt Disney World.
Sounds like a plan. See you in January.
All righty. Don't forget, today's show is brought to you by the new app that you need to put on your phone. I'm telling you, if you're going down for any of these race weekends or just for vacation, it's called Park Snacker. There's a new free mobile app. It's for all Disney fans. Again, it's called Park Snacker. You can rate, review, and discover over 60,000 menu items at Walt Disney World. Whether you're in the parks or planning your next trip, Park Snacker is the perfect way to capture the latest food trends and keep your stomach happy. You can rate and review everything you eat or drink at Disney World, discover the latest trends, and see what everyone else is eating and drinking. Connect with friends to see what they are having on their trip. Scott, I'm looking at you. I need to connect with you there, and browse menus at almost every restaurant, snack stand, and cart at Walt Disney World. So head over to parksnacker.com and preview the app, available for iOS and Android. Again, do it today. Go to parksnacker.com and fuel up for the happiest place on earth. Also, please use our travel agency. It's called The Magic for Less. You know who they are. We helped Jodie with her trip, and I appreciate that very much. We'd love to help you with your next vacation as well. Just drop by themagicforless.com. While you're there, fill out that quote form, put down a resort or two, some dates, who's going. We'll get you some rates and availability, see how all that looks. And then we'll, take care of things from there and get you booked and make sure you're getting the best rate. And of course, make sure you have the best trip possible. So check them out today over at themagicforless.com. As the holiday season comes up, please use our Amazon affiliate link, beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you to our patrons for supporting the show each and every month. Patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. And you guys get the bonus show on Thursdays, Mike in the Midwest. Again, patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. Join us on Sunday night, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central on Facebook and YouTube. It's You, Me, and Scotty G. That's right. Scott joins me and we take your calls for an hour straight on any Disney topics you want to talk about. You want to talk about Run Disney. You want to talk about Genie Plus. Anything that's on your mind, it's your show. So join us this Sunday night, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central on YouTube and Facebook. And also join us on the social media, Instagram and Twitter at Be Our Guest Mike. All right, time to get out of here and let you get on with your Monday. Thank you so much for starting the week with us here. We appreciate it so very much. So for Jodie in Cincinnati, I am Mike here in Missouri. Until we talk again, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. Yep, my wife got home right then, and that's when the dog went crazy. Knew that would happen. Well, that's good stuff. That was fun. That was good. I love that one.
Sorry, it was long. I was trying to stay on point.
No, because it was fun. When they're shorter, it's because I'm like, okay, this thing we need to get this thing done. That was a lot. I could have talked for another 20 minutes. I love this stuff.
Well, I was trying to talk about stuff that wasn't Run Disney, so people.
That was good. That was good. I like that. But see, I kept bringing you back to Run Disney, so it's my fault.
Fine with me. I love that. But some of the dining and other stuff that we did, and our Genie Plus, I really want to talk about Genie Plus because that was.
And that was a good honest review because Pam talks about it on Friday's show. So yeah, that's good because it's got growing pains. It's definitely gonna have growing pains. And I didn't get to use it because I didn't go into the parks. So I was planning on it, but
that's the kind of the only reason why I really wanted to try it out and figure it out because I'm like that. And that was frustrating though. I'm like, I bought this darn thing, and what are you saying? I can't use it for 2 more hours.
I don't want to pay extra, but if I do pay extra, I want to see like a big value out of it. I don't mind paying if I get a value, but if I don't see a value, then I get really fired up because I'm not cheap, but I just don't want to waste.
Exactly. It's our Midwest values.
Exactly. I hate to be wasteful, and that would bother me. So, all right. Well, I'm gonna edit this thing up. It'll be out on Monday, but tell your husband I appreciate him letting you. I know you guys probably had stuff going on tonight, so
I can hear all the ruckus upstairs. So.
I appreciate it. So thanks for taking the time. And if you need anything, you just give me a yell and stay injury free till marathon weekend. Don't get hurt.
That's the goal.